This
much inputs apart
conference
from
will now be
touchpad.
recorded.
So I shall go in my pace, right? And if you feel you should give some inputs, please do that. Yeah, I guess that's it. How it has to be. Let's go ahead with it. The first thing that you need if you try to write in Python is that you need to have Python installed on your machine. All right, you must have Python installed on your machine. So now in this entire thing, that writing of Pythons and all those things, they're similar if you do it on Windows or in Linux or in Mac. There is no difference in them on how you operate with it. All right. So Python is a language which is platform independent, which means that it can behave absolutely in the similar way in all the operating systems like Mac, Windows, or Linux. Over here, the machine I'm using, you can see it is a Windows 10 machine. So here we are going to do that on Windows 10. You can follow along this tutorial no matter what operating system you're using. Okay. This course goes on for roughly 2 weeks of time, followed by a project that once again gives you a duration of 1 week of a deadline, you can say, to finish the project. Right. We're going to take a look into Python first, what Python is and how to work with it, certain things, and then we're going to take a look at that how we can automate the cloud using Python. That is the cloud-based Python scripting, you can say. All right. We'll start with basic Python scripting. Then we shall take a move towards the cloud-based Python scripting. Okay. Now, the first thing is that you need to get Python installed on your PC.
Sorry for interrupting. So I just wanted to know, is it like only for the weekend? This classes are only for weekend, right?
Yes, exactly.
So which means how many weekends will be having this?
2 weekends
Uh,
and
Only 2
four
weekends.
sessions.
So and this is for 3 hours or 1 hour session?
No, the weekend sessions are always 2 hours, 2 hours or
Okay,
more than
okay.
that.
Oh, okay, fine.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you mind
So
sharing the course curriculum, like the curriculum part, like in Python, what you would be
that
taking?
you have to talk to Teqstories for that, not to me.
No, because just a briefing of it. That's it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. So you do one thing. Just go to the Teqstories website. You can find it there also. The
Okay.
entire thing is written over there. So
Okay.
yeah, so
Okay.
that is why I'm not including it. I mean, purposefully, I'm not doing it. I'm expecting everybody knows that already before sitting the session.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
basically my expectation. Yeah. So you can find it over
Okay.
there. You can read it. Yeah. Oh,
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
yes. All right. So now here, the first thing that you require to do, people, is to get Python installed on your system. All right. How can I install that? You can install Python by, first of all, downloading the Python exe file, which can be found over here. You can search for install Python on Windows. If you're running Windows, the process for Linux, I'll tell you in a moment, Linux and Mac. So if you go for install Python on Windows, you can find out this option coming up, Python downloads Windows. All right. So if you come up over here, you'll find out there is the latest Python 3 release, which is 3.8.5. Now you usually look over here under the stable release section. All right. And whatever the latest one you're finding out, if you find out that this one and this one is same, then go for this download. Else come here and go for downloading this one. So whatever is written over here on top is the one that you want to go for. All right. Don't go this one or anything. Now on my this computer, I am definitely not running 3.8.5. I'm running a little bit older version of it, but it is 3.x series. This is very important. Okay. We want to stick to 3 dot certain things and not 2 dot certain things, because a lot of things are there that do not work in version 2, which do in version 3. There are always parallel releases for version 2 and version 3. Make sure you go for version 3. If you find your computer has Python pre-installed, make sure you try to go for the version 3. In case it is not, uninstall the existing one and install that. And in case it is version 3, then it is perfectly fine. Do not go anything lower than version 3.6. If you have 3.6 or 3.7, 3.8, anything, it is perfectly good to go. Okay. All right. So you have to basically download this by clicking on this, and you can understand that exe file will come up. You can click on that, it will get installed. Straightforward. There is no such big thing to do. If you try to do the same thing on Linux, all right, then the command is sudo yum install python 3. I am expecting you guys already have some idea about Linux in case you have attended any of the sessions of AWS or DevOps, which by your names I can identify all of you have done. So, this one, sudo yum install python 3, you can understand how it looks like. You have seen Linux earlier. So that's how the installation is carried out in Linux, right? Gotcha. If you come to downloads over here, you will find out for Mac as well. Somewhere. Let me see. These are all Windows. Here it is, Mac. Okay. So you can download the Mac over here also. 3.8.5 it is present over here, so you can get it downloaded from here. And the people who are running Macintosh operating system, they can install it from this particular link. Okay. Great. Now once you have done that, if you open up your command prompt on Windows, it's command prompt. On this one, on Linux, it is going to be obviously your terminal, and on Mac as well, it's going to be terminal. If you run the command over here for Python version, okay, let me find out which one takes. Right. It has been so many days since I have used this one Windows. I think it is dash dash version, double dash or something like that. Yeah. So this is how you try to check the version, Python dash dash version, right? And this particular thing will come up, Python 3.6.5, right? So you whatever version you have installed, that will come up like this. So if you find out it is something 2 point something, make sure you uninstall that and you install the version 3, right? Now over here, you can see that this Python version you're getting, that basically means that Python is there on this machine. Now I could have continued all these things on Linux machine, but the problem over there is that it might not be very feasible for you to write everything in the command line. It might not look very good. On Windows machines, you get to download some sort of a IDE, which stands for Integrated Development Environment. In an integrated development environment, what you can do is that you can write your code, you can compile it over there, you get a complete GUI for writing it. All right. For Ashray, I can say that just like you have got code blocks in C++, right, or C. Similarly, you can download one for Python as well. All right. So
Okay.
the editor that you're using, there are multiple editors present that you can download and you can use. The ones that I shall be going for, and I would suggest all to go for that one only, in case it will be a little easy for you to follow along if you go for the same one. That is known as PyCharm. It's probably the best editor for Python. You can see there is an option to download the PyCharm. Go for it, right? And it's free of cost. You can download the community version free of cost. Do not go for the professional. It is paid. So Windows, Mac, Linux, everything is there, right? You can download your version. You can run it over there. Okay. Community. Once you download and install this thing, it will get installed on a machine, and you will find out that it is coming like this. JetBrains is the company. JetBrains PyCharm Community Edition, whatever. This was downloaded 2 years ago. It is 2018. Right now, you get 2020 something. All right. See, right now it is 2020.2. That is the build that you have. Mine is 2 years older. So once I click on that, it should actually get started. It will take some time. That will get started. See, now it comes up. So when it opens up for me, you will see in my case what is going to happen is that it is going to open up a complete written program, because the program that I was working on the last time, I was giving somebody a little demo or something. So that particular program shall be opened up over here. But when you are trying to open it up, it will not open up anything. Okay, I'll cancel this. cancel the loading of the project. This kind of a page comes up for you, and the left hand side will be empty completely. So all you need to do is that you need to click on create new project the very first time. Okay, create new project. Once you click here, so this window comes up. Now this is the default location where I keep my projects. Okay, so it is opening up this one. Now you can definitely choose your path where you choose to save your project. So I'm going to call this project Python scripting project 1. I'll actually create a folder with the name Python scripting over here, and then I shall create a project with the name project 1. Okay, once you write that, make sure you click over here, and if this one is selected, which by default will be virtual environment, come to existing interpreter, because you have already installed Python on your machine. If you do not do that, it will always try to install the version of Python for you and then run it. So every single project you open up, every single time it will install a version of Python, which is not exactly what you're looking for. Go for existing interpreter over here. All right, and this interpreter option will be coming. Now for you it might be blank. If in case it is blank, click over here. This will open up the this thing where you can choose the interpreter for. So this window will open up. Now here also you can see there is virtual environment. Get rid of that. Come to system interpreter. All right, once you come to system interpreter, you can select, you can again click over here, and that will open up your browser selection. I mean browser in the sense your file browser, not your web browser. It will open up your file explorer kind of a thing. So from here, locate where the particular file is. Locate that. Once you locate, it will appear here. Click on OK, and then it will appear here. So it has been already done for you. So my path you can see is C program files Python 3.6 python.exe. Now the python.exe must be somewhere, and that you can find out when you are installing the Python. Make sure you note down that where this Python installation is getting installed. Right. Getting it? So that is the place where you have to get this thing selected. Okay. And then once this is done, we can go for create. All right. We can go for create, and as soon as I go for create, it is going to create that project for me. All right, it opens up like this. This is how it opens up by default. Your PyCharm, by the way, might look black. Okay, so in the default color scheme nowadays it is coming as black. However, because this is an older installation, it runs in white. Yours might be black in color. Okay, that is the only difference you can probably find out. So in the left hand side, we have the project structure that we will be maintaining over here in a project, what files you're going to add and all those things. And in the right hand side, you're going to find out the file. Whenever you create a Python file, you can open it up over here. You can start writing. So the right hand side is the editor. Left hand side is the project structure, the directory structure. You'll find out, right? Right. So now this proj1 is the name that is coming up, and it shows the entire path when you hover over there. So just click on this triangle sign beside this, and you will see if there is something, it will open up, and it opens up nothing. Similarly, the external libraries, you click over here, something is coming up. So in this way, similarly, this will also is supposed to come up if something is there. But right now you can understand by clicking on this and nothing comes up, that it is empty. So what we shall do is that make sure this one is a project and not a project files. Okay, project files will come up in a very weird way. Go to project. This is the viewing parameter. How do you want to view it? Right click over here on this, go to new, and go to Python file. That's all you need to do. Right click, new, Python file. Okay, it is asking for the name for the Python file. Just give it a name. Let's say I'm going to call this thing file1. Okay, or maybe let's say code1. I press enter or click on OK, whatever, and you can see this kind of a window is coming up where you can start writing your thing. It is just like a notepad. Okay, so you can just write your things over there, whatever you want to write. Once you have done this much, then you are pretty much ready to write down your first Python program. Is there any query? Is there any question so far? Anybody? Speak up, guys.
Nothing from my end.
Okay.
No.
That's great. So now what we shall do is that we'll start writing our code. Okay, start writing our first program over here. Now the first things first, we'll get into understanding that how coding basically works, or let's say how scripting basically works. There is a little difference between programming and scripting, right? We are trying to look into scripting over here. Programming is a little bit difficult thing. Scripting is much more easier, right? So here now, see, when you're trying to do this particular thing, what we're going to do is that we're first trying to understand the concept of variables. Okay, variables are a very important concept for programming. You need to understand that, or scripting, whatever it is. So variable is just like a container within which you can keep some value. You need to keep some value within somewhere. So where do you keep it? You keep it within a variable. Right? A variable can be named as any name of your choice, A, B, C, D, whatever name you want to give to it. You can give meaningful names, meaningless names, whatever you want to go for. Meaningful names are much more better compared to meaningless names, because if it is a meaningless, then later you yourself will be confused that what this file is all about, or what this variable is all about. So I'll start with a very simple example, and trust me, you're going to get a complete idea about the variables just by one single example. Python is that easy. Okay. We're going to talk about that. I want to have four numbers with myself. I want to add all the four numbers together, right? So let us see how we can do that using Python. Okay. So I'm going to write down over here four numbers. Now, for keeping four numbers, as I told you, the values are stored in variables. So variables is the container. A variable is a container within which you store some value. Okay. So let us store some value over here. Just create. We need four numbers, right? So we should create four variables. Each variable for one number. See, this is how you do it. Let's say I'm calling this thing A B C D. A equal to 20. Let's say B equal to 40. Let's say C equal to 50. And let's say D equal to 80. Right? So this is altogether, the sum will be 190, I guess. 40, 20, 60, 60, 50 is 110, 110, and then 80, yeah, 190. So this is basically the four numbers that I have taken. A equal to something, B equal to something, C equal to something, D equal to something. And now I want them to add up together, and then the result I'm going to call like sum equal to, you can just give it any name. Let's say S equal to, S means sum, let's assume. A plus B plus C plus D, right? So now, if I try to print the value of S, I'll find out it is giving me 190. Print within a first bracket, or you call it a parenthesis, right? You write down S, right? Parenthesis or first bracket, whatever you to call it, both the names are correct. We call it print S. If I run this program, I can run it by right clicking somewhere in between, not on a text or something, as in the empty space. Right click on this and go to run code 1. You can also try to memorize the shortcut Shift Control F10. It becomes much more easier to and much more faster to write a code if you go with a shortcut. It gives you the output of 190. Okay, so you can see it says that the Python, which is present under C program files, has tried to run this particular code. Right, the entire path is written where the code is, and then this is the output of that 190. So I have taken four numbers, I've added them together. So you can see I did not write over here 20 plus 34, because if I do so, then the problem is that if I use that number in 5 different places in my code, if I need to update it, I need to update in 5 different places. But if I use a variable and I'm just putting a value over there, I just change it over here. I'm making this one also 50. And once again, run the code, and you're gonna see the change output has changed. Animesh, you told you have not done any programming earlier. So do you think this one is making sense to you? Are you clear with this? Does it look easy?
Yeah, it's very easy. It's looking easy to me.
All right, great. So the genetic structure is basically The generic struct with the hash sign we can comment out. Okay, so we can write down anything, and that thing will not be considered as a part of code. We can write whatever, that will not be considered as an error in the code. So with the hash, you can write down your things basically. So you can see that the main structure is like this: variable equal to value. Okay, so using this structure, we can put certain value within a variable. That's what we are doing. And this is basically the operation. So you can write plus, minus, whatever you want. If you want to go from minus, you just replace it with replace this thing with minus. Let's say I want to make this thing a minus. I want to make this thing a minus. I want to make this thing a minus, right? So I'm just something minus something minus something minus something, right? So once again, Shift Control F10, I'm pressing on my laptop, and this is the output I'm getting: 120, negative 120. That is the output. 50 minus 40 minus 50 minus 80. This output I get negative 120. So I can do whatever I want. I can do multiplication and all the things. So this is your multiplication. This is, let's say, your division. You can just run whatever XYZ things you want to do, and you will get a reply accordingly. So you got some reply over there, some response. All right. So now that in this way you are writing your variable equal to value kind of a thing over here, let us try to see that what kind of values we can put in variables. Okay. Let me say I want to, let's say, for example, print a statement like this, that something like this. Okay, within double quotes I can write a complete line. I had eaten let's say fruits for my lunch today, right? This is something I want to write. I had eaten fruits from my lunch today. Okay, so now it will definitely go ahead and print this line over there because you're writing in double quotes. If you remove the double quotes, it will not make any sense to anybody, and they're going to throw you a bunch of errors over there, like hey, something went wrong. It is like, what is this? It doesn't know what this is. It is telling invalid syntax. Syntax means grammar. Okay, just like in language you say grammar, in program you say syntax. It is telling there is some grammatical mistake that has been done over here. What's wrong? It is asking like what's wrong. So we know what's wrong. The problem is that we did not put a double quote around it. You can put a single quote also if you want. So just remember, what you start with, you end with that one. Starting with single quote is also okay. Anything works. Okay, but you just need to give one. That's the thing. And you can see this text is coming. All right. But now if I plan to, let's say, for example, write multiple sentences using it. Okay, I had eaten fruits for my lunch today. Then let's say I write down, I'm just copying and pasting it just to save some time. Okay, the fruits were tasty. Okay, then let's say I want to write, you should try to have fruits sometime. So you can see the word fruits is present 3 times in our code. Only 3 lines we have written, and in 3 lines it is there. Now think about it, if you're writing a code of 100 lines long, it is probably present multiple times over there. Now just understand the benefit of using variables. Okay, I mean, if I did not use variables over here, I just wrote 50 instead of A and 40 instead of B, it would still work. But look here. Now that I've written the fruits in multiple places, and if I run this thing, you know that all these lines are going to be printed one below the other. I had written fruits. The fruits were tasty. You should try to have fruits sometimes, etc. But here there is one problem. The problem is that if I want to change it from fruits to, let's say, for example, to a specific fruit, let's say I write an orange. Okay, and I want to write oranges, let's say. Then I have to change it everywhere. Oranges. Again here also. So now this is not exactly how you do programming. This is becoming like editing a text document. Like you have to, someone is giving you a Excel file or a Word file, you need to change things like that. You have find and replace, find and replace. We do not do that in programming. What we do now, we can see this orange is something that is we are using multiple places. What we shall do, we shall create a variable with the name, let's say lunch. I'm calling it lunch. So whatever I had for lunch, I shall write over here. I'm writing in single quotes or double quotes, anything is fine. Oranges. Okay, I wrote it here, and here what I write is that I had eaten. This is one part of my sentence. This is one part of my sentence. In between, that thing should come up, like oranges or apples or bananas, whatever I want to write. Okay, so I'm just breaking it down into two parts. First of all, you notice over here. Okay, I'm just breaking it down into two parts. These parts have to be put commas in between. I must put comma because that is part one, that is part two. However, I don't just want it to be part one and part two. I want something to be in between also. Lunch. Now we know that as soon as I will click over here, you can see it is highlighting this one. So that means we know lunch means what? Oranges. So I'm going to say I had eaten, and whatever lunch means, and then for my lunch today. So we can just put comma and we can insert variables. Right? In this way we are writing it. So you can see still then this thing will come nicely. I had eaten oranges for my lunch. So this much it had printed, I had eaten. In the lunch, it is taking the value from here, like oranges, and then for my lunch today, that comes over here. The lunch were tasty. So the lunch means what? The oranges. So they were tasty. You should try to have oranges sometimes. So the lunch is the. I can give it any name. Okay, I can just change it to, let's say, food name, something like this. I'm calling it the food name. Okay. So you have to first of all find out a genetic structure. So see, there is a genetic structure. I have written the food name for my lunch. So now whatever food you might try to put it over there, it is going to work out anyway. So if I call it oranges, it comes out to be, sorry, oranges. If I change this to, let's say, chilies, even though I do not know why someone will eat chilies for their lunch, but let's say someone does so, you can see it says chilies. The chilies were tasty. You should try to have chilies sometimes, it says, right? I can make the thing whatever I want. Coconut, okay? This also works. So it is replacing it everywhere because when it is trying to find out what to print, I asked it to print, right? It is trying to print something. And I asked it to find out. It found out there are three things it has to print. First, it has to print I had eaten. The second part, there is a variable. So it is going to find out the value for. Now remember, do not put it in quote. If I put it in quote, it will start thinking that it is the text itself. So it will just write down food underscore name in the output also. Look at this. Just see the first output. It will write down food underscore name. But the second and the third, it will write coconut. Okay. So you can see I had written food name. That is because I put a double quote over here. When you put a quote, you want to say them that whatever is written within the quote, that thing has to be printed as it is. But this one, we do not want that. We want the data that is stored within this particular variable to be brought into over there and then written. Therefore, this is what goes on. All right. So shift control F10 once again. No, shift control F10. Yeah. And you can see that it is coming back to coconuts. Okay. Easy, right, guys? Isn't it?
Yes, yes, yes. Easy.
Any kind of doubt at any point of time you face, you know what you have to do. You just need to ask me, right? You need to stop me and ask me then and there. If I feel that the question is anyway going to answer later, I can tell you that, well, I'm coming to this point, or else I'll answer you right now at that point of time itself. Okay. All right. So I had written, you can see the food name and all the things are over. Okay. Now once this is done, okay, anybody joined later? Shaikh, when did you join? Did you join earlier? You were there from the beginning. Are you understanding, Shaikh?
Yeah, I've done little late.
Okay, so you're clear, right? Whatever is going on over
How
here.
time I have joined exact
Sorry.
Python downloading is there, right?
Right,
So
right.
that
That point you joined. Okay, so all these things are making sense, right?
yeah. It's like,
That's great. That's wonderful. Let us try to do something meaningful right now instead of just eating coconuts, a bunch of coconuts for my lunch. That might not be a very good thing to do. Let us try to do some good things. Okay. So what I'll do is that I'll just bring it a little down. Okay. So let me write down something like this. Let me take your name, let's say, okay, name, and I'm going to, let's say, write down, for example, over here, Vishal. Okay, I'm taking, let's say, phone. I'm going to write down a phone number, let's say. Okay. Then let's say, for example, I'm going to write down address. I'm writing down, let's say, for example, Bangalore. Okay, I'm going to take, let's say, for example, email equal to, let's say, for example, vishal@gmail.com, for example. Do not try to send me an email over there. That email ID, I don't even know if it exists or not. Okay. So now what we can do, let's say if someone asks us to go for like, let's say something like this we want to print, okay? Print. Let's say I want to do like this. Vishal stays in Bangalore and is reachable at 0909090909 or vishal@gmail.com. So this kind of a thing I want to do. Now this thing you can understand that I am writing a lot of things directly over here. What if the phone number changes? Instead we should be using the variables. How I should do that? Vishal stays. Okay, great. So I'll first write down name, comma. The name comes first. Name, that is Vishal, being pulled from here. Then stays in. Then the place should come up, right? So this section. Address. Okay. So name stays in address and is reachable at. Then this thing comes up. Phone. Okay. Or the email ID comes up. And you can see it is telling the correct thing. Vishal stays in Bangalore. So one day the phone number changes, I can just change it over here. You see, and it absolutely reflects over here. Okay, so it is taking these variables and it's putting it over here. So we do this kind of things a lot. Variables are extremely useful. You can put numbers over there, you can put text over there, you can put like alphanumeric. You can put, if you want, decimal numbers like with the points, right? Something point something, 2.5, 3.8, like this we can do. All right, okay. Acha. So now let us say, let me ask you a question, guys. Reply to me. Let us say if I try to make a let's say result calculator. Okay, so a kid has gone to a school and he has got his result and he has only 4 subjects. Let's say English, mathematics, physics and chemistry. 4 subjects he has. Okay, English, maths, physics, chemistry. So now we are trying to find out what is the total result of them that they have got in these 4 subjects. How do you think we can do that? Tell me, what is the process? Yes, guys, speak up. I want to write down what they have got in the 4 subjects, the numbers they have, the marks they have got, and then I want to show the total marks. What should I do? No answer? We do an addition, right? Don't we? We just take the 4 numbers and we do an addition, yes or no? Exactly this kind of a thing, isn't it? 4 numbers and just add them up together. Guys, are you there? Are you lost? You understanding? I think you should speak up, guys. I'm talking to you only.
Yes, Vishal. We can declare a variable and or else we can just simply give it I mean, the addition of the subjects would be the total marks.
Exactly. So you can create English equal to something, maths equal to something like that, and then add them up, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Great.
And if we want to print both of them, then we can just give print the subject names and then print the variable in which we have stored the addition of the subjects. Correct?
That's fantastic. Exactly. That's fantastic. That's very, very, very correct. Okay. So tell me, how do I exactly do it? Let's say I'm writing like this. Sub 1 equal to, let's say, English, and let's say marks 1. I'm just writing M1 equal to, let's say, for example, 95. Okay. Let's just do two subjects. Sub 2 equal to, let's say, for example, let's say maths, and I'm writing down marks 2 equal to, let's say, 92, 93, whatever. So how do I print it? Tell me, what should I write?
Print sub 1 comma M1 sub 2 equal to M2.
Sub 1 comma M1.
Yeah, means
Then,
equal to M1.
acha. So how should I write it? How should I write the equal to? Simply like this?
Yes.
No. Equal to is something that you want to display over there, right? So you need to write it in double quotes, na? Or single quote.
Okay.
And to
Yeah,
display
yeah,
that, right?
yeah.
M1. Then in the next line, so I'll just create another print statement. One print statement, as soon as it will end, it will come to the next line, right?
Okay.
So sub 2 equal to M2.
M2. Yes.
Correct? We can do this. Let's try to run this
Yes.
and let us see. You wrote a fantastic code, Animesh. That's great. It's working. All right. Okay. May I know who this person is with the name SB? Hello. There is a joiner with the name SB. May I know your name, please? Who is that?
It would be Sheikh Badullah, I think. His full name, Sheikh's full name.
Ah, all right. You guys know each other?
Yeah, I mean, Sheikh and I are teammates.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. Okay.
Hello,
So you can see
this
this
is
thing
Sheikh.
is
Actually, I have joined with my laptop, so just have disconnected. Actually, having some issues with it.
right. Perfect. Perfect. No issues. No issues. That's perfectly fine. No, that is because we have a list of people, right? So I just need to always verify if someone else is getting on.
Actually, I
So yeah,
didn't expect this. Actually, I'm a shift now, so that reason I am joined that one. So just have disconnected that one, so just joined this.
right, right, right. Right, great. So you can see that this thing is coming up, right? Sub 1 is English and sub 2 is maths, and then marks and the marks. So they are coming up fantastically well. That's great. So far we have seen that how we can put some values in a variable, and then ultimately we can use that particular thing, that variable, to print out the value, right? This much you have seen. So now it's time that we're going to see that how we can actually take an input from a user in this terminal. Basically, this is called the terminal. So how we can take an input from the user and play with it, something like this. Let's say, so far whatever you have written, I'll just put three quotation signs over here, and other three automatically comes up. Okay, so three quotations on top and three quotations on bottom. If I do so, this entire part will be excluded from the program. It will be there in the file, but when the program you are trying to run, it will be excluded from there. Okay. Okay, great. Now let us assume that we want to basically do something like this, that we want to um, take some inputs from the user and we want to show them the summation of it. Two numbers I want to take from the user. Okay, understand the question nicely. I want to take two numbers from the user. I want to show them the summation of it and the what do you call it? The difference, the product of them, and the division output. Okay, these four things I want to show. Let's try to do that. So I want to have number one and number two. So first of all, you tell me if I myself put the numbers like number 1 is 10 and number 2 is like, let's say for example 20. I myself am putting the numbers, and then let us say I want to show these strings, these 4 calculations. How do I do it? Anybody? Can you do like this? Print number 1 plus number 2, right? That will find out the summation and put it over there. Correct? Print number 1 minus number 2, right? Print number 1 multiplied by number 2. Print number 1 divided by number 2. Yes or no, guys? Is it correct? Do you think
I think it might work.
it will work? It will work. So here we can also try to make it this thing like this. You can first write down that the sum equal to, and then sorry, I got a space, and then I can write down this one. So sum equal to the num1 plus num2. Just to make sure that num1 and num2 is num1 plus num2, this entire part is considered as one single unit. I'll put this in a bracket. Okay, so I'll just put this part in a bracket. The sum equal to that thing. It's a difference equal to, I'm again putting them in a bracket. Okay, then let's say over here product, I'm again putting them in a bracket. Okay, and then the last one is basically quotient. Right, so these are the 4 things that you got over here, huh? Num1, num2, and then some difference, or what do you call it, product and quotient. Okay, so these outputs will come like this. Let us try to run this. We'll get only this much of output because the other parts we have already excluded them for the program. So this you are getting sum equal to 30, difference equal to -10, product equal to 200, and quotient equal to 0.5. Clear so far, na? This one makes sense, right? Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay. The other people I am expecting your understanding, right? Because nobody else is replying, and if you have done my classes earlier, I think you have not. In case you have done, you might be knowing that I don't even suggest you to keep your mic switched off. I just keep them open. Always speak. Don't keep silent, because the point you keep silent, the point it starts like you are watching a movie. Something is going on the screen, someone is speaking. Then there is no difference between Udemy and Teqstories. So don't do it. Participate, please. So you can see this thing is going on. Now I want to take these numbers from the user. Okay, I will take these numbers from the user. So I can write like this. Instead of writing directly 10, I can say input. Input, just like by print, we print something, and with input we take something. Okay, I'm writing like this, that I want an input here, I want an input here. However, this will not work. This will crash. This program will crash. Let us try to see that first. So if I try to write it down, I mean, it will work for the plus, but for the other ones it will crash. See, look here. I'm running the code. So, okay, I forgot to ask us to take the input. It is just waiting for us to give the input. Let us say I'm giving 5, pressing enter. I'm giving another input as 5. And you can see just still the sum it works, and after that it does not. So can you explain me what just happened? How come 5 plus 5 became 55? What do you think has happened over here?
It took the number as a variable, input
It
as a
took the number
variable,
as a
and then
text. It took the number
yeah,
as a text. It thought it's a text. So when you put plus between two texts, they just join with each other. They get joined. So 5 and 5 joined with each other. They become 55. Right? So that means I need to tell it that, brother, these are not these things. These are not text. These are numbers. So how do you do that? Anyway, before I do that, let me fix another thing. If I write down something over here, like enter num1, so it will show you this message over there. Enter num2, it will show you this message before it takes the input. So something like this. Enter num1, it is waiting over here. So write down num1 is, let's say, 12. Enter num2, I write down it is 45. So sum becomes 1245. It just concatenates together. It is concatenation, right? So remember, there is something to understand over here, that for numbers, plus is addition, but for text, plus is concatenation. It just joins together. Okay. Acha. Now, if I want this thing, this input, whatever is coming, if I want that to be considered as a number, all I need to do is that just notice very clearly what I'm doing. I'm putting a first bracket over here and writing down int. Sorry, no space. And then the second part that I have over here, that also I have to wrap with the first bracket. Okay. So I'm putting a first bracket against the word input enter num1, and I'm putting a first bracket against the word int. It is complaining that, hey, don't give a space here. So you can delete the space if you want to. So if you write like this, now see how it works out. Whenever you put first bracket against some things, then entire thing is considered as one single unit. Just like I had put a first bracket here. So num1 plus num2 is now considered as a one single unit. So the addition is done and that is printed. So it is one single unit. So when I say input enter num1, this is one single unit. It takes an input. And this line just over here, I wrote int within a bracket. That will make sure that this input is considered as a number and not as a text. All right. You must do this thing over here. It will be considered as a number and not as a text. Now, if I run this, it should work out pretty nicely. So enter number 1, I'm entering, let's say, 215, and number 2, I'm entering, let's say, for example, 10. See, everything works out. It says the sum is 25, the difference is 5, the product is 150, and the quotient comes out to be 1.5. All right. Is it clear so far?
Yes, Vishal.
That's great. So you can see this thing is working pretty nicely. Now, the question that comes at what all things can you write over here? Well, you can write exactly, actually you can write multiple things over there, but the ones that we'll be using, one is int and one is float. A float means it's a decimal point number, something point something. And int means it's not a decimal point number. Just see this thing. If I try to enter some number which is in something point something format, see how it happens. Number 1 is 5.2, and oh, see, it throws an error immediately. It says that, hey, I cannot take 5.2 as a valid integer number. So if I want to go for this kind of numbers, I need to go for float. Just write down float. Float means it is a decimal number. So as of now, just know this much. Integer is not a decimal number. Float is a decimal number. So here if I write down, let's say 5.2, and here, see, there is no issues. I write down 6.35. So it comes up with a very odd number, whatever it is, but some output it is coming up with. Okay? It is working. Right. So that's the most important part over here. You can see it is working perfectly. Now, can I write normal numbers by writing it float? Let me try it out. Just 10. It works. 15. See, it perfectly works. So float can accept normal numbers as well as decimal numbers, but an int can only accept normal numbers, and it will completely disregard any input that is given in the decimal format. It will throw you an error. Makes sense, right? Everything. So the float is a decimal point number and the int is just a whole number. If I try to fit in a whole number within a float, it does not tell me anything because it just considers that 10 means 10.0, 15 means 15.0. But if I try to fit in a decimal point number within a whole number field, it is going to stop me because it will tell that, hey, you're going to write down 2.5, but 2.5 unfortunately is not a number that can be fit into a whole number. So you get this issue over there. Right? So do I suggest that you should always go for floats and not go for ints? Yes, maybe you can go for that, but there is a problem little over here. That is, If you go for float, now float typically takes up double the space in memory compared to int. Oh, sorry, wrong information. Sorry, ignore this. This was in the older version. In the newer version, it's the same. Int and float takes the same position right now. In the earlier version, Python 2 float used to take double the size of integer, but nowadays it is the same. So there is no issue in size. The problem with float in some cases is that in case you deliberately want not to accept decimal numbers, then you cannot use, must use int. So you can use int or float whatever you want for majority of the cases. No. So now if this far everything is clear, then we should probably go for again an assignment. Okay? Just like you did an assignment, you tried to find out what is the subject and the marks. Similarly, we can now go for an assignment where I'll tell you what output I'm expecting. You can tell me that what exactly you're trying to write as an input variable. Get that output ready. Okay. And the output that I'm looking for is basically like this. I want to print a data on my output like this. The output, okay, I'm just writing with the hash. And write down Mary had a little lamb, comma, who was 15 months old. Sorry, days old, right? And I'm going to give you the variables also. As tell me what is the print statement that you think I should write over here. Tell me completely.
Mary had a little lamb who was 15 days old. Uh, it would be Mary, then comma,
Should I write Mary
had
or should I write
name, sorry, name.
name?
It would be
Okay, फिर comma
then inverted commas में had a little,
okay, had a little, then
comma,
okay,
then who was,
what should I write after comma? Say directly who was,
in the inverted commas it would be who was.
but the pet we have to write now over here, lamb,
Yes,
isn't
yes,
it?
pet, yeah, had a little pet would be the variable, and then comma, within the inverted commas it would be who was,
Who was,
then after that age,
comma, age,
then
comma,
comma, inverted
old,
old, yep.
right? Do you think it is correct? How many of you think it is correct? Others? Others don't want to speak. कोई तो बात कर लो यार, ऐसे थोड़ी ना चलता है.
शर्मा रहे हैं लग रहा है सब.
15 days old, right? Yeah, it's looking correct for me.
Okay, does anybody feel it is not correct? That's what I'm asking. Okay, I am feeling it is not correct, and I'll tell you why. Let me run this program, okay? Oh, it is again stuck at enter number 1. Okay, fine. This is the sentence you have written, and this is what I had asked for. There was a comma in between, and that part is missing. See? So where do you
Yes,
think I should put the comma?
Means inside the inverted column.
Which part? Tell me. Where exactly in this?
After pet,
Just in front of who?
after the
In front
statement
of
pet.
Yes, yeah.
in the space, right?
Yes.
And now it is going to work. I'll first stop this part, man. ये क्या कर रहे हैं लोग? कैसी आवाज निकल रहे हैं सब बाहर रास्ते पे? Now you can see. Oh, now tell me what do I do with this? Because whenever I write a comma, it automatically inserts a space. So how do I handle that? What do you think?
After the comma after pet and in between the comma and the
No,
inverted there is a space,
space.
right?
This space does not matter. This space does not matter. You can put as many spaces as you want. You will
Okay.
still get the same output. That space doesn't matter. Okay? The white spaces do not matter. If you remember, when I tried to do the number program just before this, if I wrote a plus and it joined together, right? Concatenation, isn't it? So here instead of comma, we can use a concatenation, right? Because that will join together without any space,
Okay, yeah.
right? And now look at this. The problem is solved.
Yeah.
Great. Nice. So this one we have seen and we have quite done it, and I'm expecting that you guys will be able to do this thing even more once you practice. It's great. So that is all about our variables and values and printing, taking input. So the typical works, right? So adding them, subtracting them, doing a plus on texts for doing a concatenation. So these kind of things we are seeing. These kind of things are going on. These are all the basic stuffs, the entirely basic stuffs, and they are pretty much working nicely. Now, what we shall do over here is that now that we have done all these things, what we shall do is that we shall be going for at this point a little step forward, right? So I'll take a break for guys for around 10 minutes. So it is 4:36 around. So we're going to start at 4:45, 4:46 around that before 4:50, right? So stay tuned, stick over here. I'll be
Okay.
on mute. All right. I'll take a break for 10 minutes. I'll just prepare a little bit of tea for myself, feeling a little headache, and then we shall continue.
Okay.
All right. Chalo. Okay. Wait. All right, shall we start? Guys, you there? Can anybody hear me? Hello?
Yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah, you can hear me?
Able to
That's
hear.
great.
Yeah,
Wonderful. All right, so we had it this far where we talked about a lot of things, right? And everything is pretty much working. Now it's time that we actually talk about something more, right? We go forward a little bit. So, all right. So let us go forward a little bit and let us try to understand the functions. Okay, there is something called functions. We need to understand it because functions play a very, very important part. And you're going to see that this kind of things that you're doing over here, that is going to be much more easier when you try to use functions. Okay, in several aspects. Okay, we'll come to that. But however, before I go to functions, there is another thing that I would like to visit over here. That is called three things. Okay, the list, a data structure. Now this is important to understand. There are three things that we need to know: the list data structure, the set data structure, the dictionary data structure. Okay, so out of them, the most important is the list. Actually, there is another one. Sorry, I forgot. The tuple data structure. Okay, right. So, in fact, I shall take the list and then the tuple, then the set. The list data structure. All of these things are a part of the collection framework. Okay, therefore, collection of data. Let's say if we talk about a school, right? In a school, there are in a class, let's say there are 60 students in a section. You know, 60 students in a section. If I ask you to take the details of the 60 students and you start taking them like this, that today, let's say S1, S2, S3, S4, these kind of variables you're creating for their names. Now that becomes a terrific thing because you got 60 variables. I mean, then you will be like, what's going on over here? But you don't want to play with 60 variables. You want to play with one single variable, but use it as a collection. See how to do that. We can do it very nicely in this way. Let me create a list of fruits. Okay, fruits. You need to put a square bracket and just write down some fruits over there. Let's say banana. Okay, apple. Then let's say pineapple. What is spelling of pineapple, man? P-I-N-E. Yeah. Then let's say you want to go for example, coconut. Then you want to go for, let's say, cucumber. Then let's say you want to go for example, orange. So these five fruits, sorry, six fruits I want to, let's say, right over here. I got an extra thing. All right. These six fruits, let's say I want to write over here. Okay, six fruits: banana, apple, pineapple, coconut, cucumber, and orange. Okay. Now here, that the six fruits we have over here, right? Now we can actually play with them. See how I can print it if I want to print fruits. It will print all of them together. All right, you can see banana, apple. The entire thing comes up with a square bracket. All right. If I want to just print, let's say, the fourth one, so I can write down fruits bracket 4. It will print the fourth fruit. Which one is the fourth fruit? Do you think, guys? Hmm?
coconut one.
The fourth fruit is cucumber because computer starts it counting from 0. Okay, so banana is the 0th fruit. Apple is the first. It is second. It is third. It is fourth. Got it? This thing does not calculate from 1. This calculates from 0. Always remember this. So if I try to print the fruits 4, it is going to give me the fourth fruit, which is cucumber for it. Right? You can always try to find out the total number of fruits you have just by printing the, let's write it like this: total number of fruits equals to len. Len stands for length. Okay, what is the length of this entire list? If I write length of fruits, so that will ultimately become the total number of fruits, right? Because the length is how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the length. Counting starts from 0, but if you see the length means the number of items. That is how much? 6. So I can print like this: total number of fruits is, let's say, total number of fruits, right? This variable that I created just now. All right, and if I run this, it will tell me total number of fruits is 6. The total number of fruits is 6. Okay, so in this way we can play with it. Now this is about printing the entire list, printing a particular one, finding out the total number of fruits, etc., etc. We can do even more things. That is like, so these are all your doing basic stuffs. And let's say I want to go for doing some I know, like, how do I operations? Okay, you can say doing operations on it, on the list. See how doing operations on a list work. Let us say what kind of operations. I mean, let's say for example I want to uh, delete one item from the list. Okay, so fruits dot, you just put a dot over there and you'll find out something called remove. Fruits remove, and you just write down what you want to remove. I want to remove, let's say, apple. Then if I print it, the fruits, okay, you're going to find out that the apple is removed from this list. See, second time after banana, directly pineapple is coming, which is the second one. So the apple got removed. First time, all these things were there, but the second time when I'm running it, you can see apple is removed. So you can remove something from a list in this way. Okay, all right. Now here, let's say I want to again fruits dot, you can see append means adding something. Okay, so I can add apple back, or instead of, say, I removed apple and let's say I'm trying to put in, for example, let's say strawberry. All right, now if I print the fruits, you're going to find out that there is strawberry right now added to it, right? So you can see strawberry came into the picture. So apple got removed, there was no strawberry. This was the list after apple removed, and then strawberry got added. So append and remove, these are commands, sorry, functions using which what you can do, you can add things or remove things from a list. Okay, acha. Then let's say we're going to do something like this: fruits dot, all right, I want to sort it. I want to sort it. After sorting, if I print it, then you will see that they will be sorted by their names. Look at it: banana, coconut, cucumber, orange, pineapple, strawberry. So they just got sorted alphabetically. Yes or no? If you want to sort them reverse alphabetically, you can do one thing. You can actually write down false over here, capital F, false. If I do that, I'm guessing it will be reverse sorted. No. It got fail. Sorry, it is not false. I had to see what it is to do a reverse sort. I think. Wait, let me just put some commas. I'll come to know. I think it is true. I have to write, not false. Probably. No, it does not take it, ma'am. There is some way to do it a reverse sorting. I forgot it. I'll to see it anyway. Acha. Then let's say if I want to complete this, as of now it is working once again. So it is positively sorted. Okay. So if I want to reverse something, I can go like fruits dot reverse. If I do that and then I print it, the fruits, you're gonna find out that it has got reversed completely. Okay. See, now strawberry is coming at the beginning, then pineapple is coming, then orange. So you just need to write down the name of your this thing, the variable name, that is the list variable, right? Fruits. And you can add something with it just by writing dot append, dot remove, dot sort, dot reverse. It will be taken care exactly like that, however we are writing it. All right. So in those way this thing goes on, you can see it got reversed completely, right? Okay. So now, all right, let me see something else I can tell you. So when you put a dot, right, it will automatically give you this list, and you can just find out which one do you need. Let us say, in this list you saw that I had added strawberry, right, just by writing append. But let us say I had another list. Okay, let me create another list. Fruits, second list, and here let's say I'm putting some more fruits, right? I'm putting guava. I'm putting, let's say, for example, what else is there, man? Give me some fruits now. Give me some names, please. Nobody? Can someone help me with some fruits?
Kiwi.
Kiwi. Okay, fine. Let's stop at 2 only. That's okay. Thank you. So you can see this is there. So if I want to, if I say that I want these fruits also to be in the part of my, my fruits, the entire list, and I go for an append, see there is a problem. If I write fruits dot append and I say that add the fruits second list, append it over there, then there is a problem. What problem? See, the problem that will come is this guava kiwi, this list will get added just as one single item. So just like coconut was there, one item, banana was there, this entire list is one item. But I didn't want that. I wanted these fruits to enter this list. If you try to do this, append is a wrong option. You should go for extend. If you go for extend, it is going to add them in just like one item. All right. So you can extend another list within your list. So someone, let's say, gave you a list of, let's just think like this, a real life problem. Someone tells you that these things you need to buy from the market, and this is also another list. Sometimes later you get it just before you're going to go out to the market. There is another small list given to you. Okay, these items we had missed in the main list, so these are also added to the list. So there are 10 items in the main list you need to buy. You need to buy cabbage, you need to buy gingers, you need to buy chili, you need to buy, let's say, chicken, you need to buy this and that, all those things. And they had forgotten to write tomatoes, so they give you another list. There is written tomatoes and potato. Now tomato and potato should also enter the entire list of your shopping, right? So they should be get added. Not that, that as a single item it should not get added. If it is tomato and potato, then it should come as tomato and potato over there. So just like that. So if I write extend, they will enter as one element. Otherwise they will just enter like one single item, right? You don't want that. You want it to come like this. You can see. So you can, we can really play with this list, right? So these are all the functions that you need to know about a list. Function means what? Function means it is something that gives you a power to do something. So this allows you to remove something, it allows you to append something, it allows you to sort it, it allows you to reverse it, and it allows you to add up another list within this list. Okay, these are all the functions that we just looked into. Now if I try to talk about tuple, now tuple is very similar to list, very similar. One thing is that here I'm again calling it fruits only. Okay, we write a first bracket instead of a third bracket, or instead of a square bracket you can say we write a parenthesis, right? The programming language terminology is square bracket, curly braces, and parentheses. And the normal terminology is first bracket for parentheses, curly brackets is second, and square bracket is third. These are the two terminologies that I use, one against the other. Both I use. So now you can see that this is the thing, right? So let's say I'm writing in a parenthesis over here, fruits. And this time I'm again writing the
Hello,
same list. I just yes, tell me,
hello.
who is this?
Yeah, I have query. Uh, yeah, I'm Amjad. I have one query that
Amjad,
in
Amjad,
list, how can we?
listen to me first. One thing. Were you being able to listen to me from the beginning itself, or just now your audio is working?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So when
yeah,
I
yeah.
was
I'm
talking to
listening
you,
it to the beginning.
to me, Amjad,
Hello,
I am asking when I was talking
hello.
to you, were you replying to me? Right?
Yeah,
That's not a good.
I don't have.
It's not
I
a
don't
good
have any
idea.
question.
One is speaking to you to speak up, right? You should speak up, isn't it? Yeah, all right. Tell me what's your query? Tell me.
Okay, in list, how can we read the user input into the list?
I'll come to that. I'll come to those points. Okay. As of now, first understand what all things we have. We can read it very easily. I mean, if you have, in fact, you should have understood it automatically. See here, if you remember this example when I wrote num1 equal to 10, and then I replaced the 10 with this thing, right? So if this is how you read a user input, if this is the case, then I mean, let's say this much only, right? That was for making it a float. If I take this thing and I print it over here, paste it instead of banana, it is going to ask me enter num1 or fruit1, let's say, or to call this thing. So this time when you try to do this, now look at this. If I run this, it is telling enter fruit1. So the fruit2, fruit3 it will take automatically. Fruit1 it is asking, right? So let's say I'm writing, for example, banana, and the entire list goes on with banana. In case I had entered something else, let's say, for example, I had entered fruit1 as, let's say, for example, something else, maybe. I don't know. Let me just write down anything. Let me chicken. Chicken is not a fruit, but simply. So the entire list goes on with chicken, chicken, chicken everywhere, right? So you just replace this. That's it. Got it? We'll come to this thing. Wait a minute. All right. Good that you asked me the question, but whenever I am speaking also to you, please make sure you respond to me, right? That's a minimum expectation I have from you. Okay. So you can see now when I write in this way that fruits and then no in this first bracket if I'm writing the stuffs, right? Banana, apple, pineapple, coconut, cucumber, and let's say orange. Now here there is a thing. When you write in a tuple, the only thing that changes is that in a tuple, unlike a list, you cannot add or delete any item. Once it is created, it is created. You have no options to add or delete something. If you try it out, I mean, it will print similar way, like just like if I write fruits, it will print. See, it prints with a this thing first bracket, but it prints. But here, if I try to add or delete something, you will see if I write down dot, you will not find those functions. See, only index and count. There is nothing else. Nothing else is there. These underscore ones do not work. I mean, they are different. They are different things. But you can see there is nothing else. These are not functions. Functions will end up with a bracket. You can see those functions are not, because we cannot change it. Okay, we cannot change it. We cannot sort it. We cannot reverse it. We cannot change anything. When it is born, and it is fixed like that forever. Okay. I'll give you some programs today to practice and to work out at your home. And all those things will be having all these things over there, right? Whatever I'm writing. So all this stuff will be there in the particular programs that I should be giving to you. The set address, so you can understand tuple is just a list, with the only difference with the list is that you cannot change it once it is created. Okay, it cannot be changed once it is created. The set data structure, once again, now this is written by the second bracket, that is the curly braces. Okay, I'll just write down the same list or same data. Okay, just say write the same thing. So now here also the print works without any issue. Here also it works without any issue, and you can see this is perfectly working. Here we can do all the things that we did in list. But the difference between set and list is that set, I mean set with tuple list anybody, that set does not allow you to write a duplicate element. You cannot have the same element present twice. However, here you can. Let's say, if you remember, here there was a banana, and I want to add another banana over here. It will work. There's no problem. I can add banana 5 times. It will work without any issue, right? Look at this. Yeah, it has got 2 bananas, right? One banana and another banana. It works without any issue. In tuple also it works. Let's say if I write the word apple multiple times. Yeah. Again, let's say here, it works. It will work without any issue, right? You can see apple, apple, apple like that. But here, if you try to do that, let's say I want to do orange, orange, orange. Right? It is going to take only one single orange, man. Right? And you can also see this is not indexed properly. Means every time if I done, this order will change. Sometimes it will come like this: pineapple first, then orange. If I done it again, it order might change. Look at this. Just notice the order. See, this time it starts with orange. Okay. Again I done it. This time it starts with cucumber. That will not happen for the others, but for set. So you have to understand that the 3 things exist for different purposes. So let's understand it. The list data structure is, it can allow anything any number of times. Okay, anything any number of times, and preserves the ordering. All right. If I talk about so you can understand the purpose is different for these 2 things. This can allow anything any number of times, preserves the ordering, but cannot be changed once created. Now that issue was not there. It was can be changed once created. Okay. And this one, if I see from here till here, we copy this set data structure. It can allow anything only one time or once. Does not preserve the ordering. It can be changed once created. There is no issues about it. We can manipulate just like we did for that one, right? Our list. We can change this one. Let's say fruits dot, and you can see remove is coming, right? Update here. Update basically means adding a new item. Basically, that is called update. Pop means throwing away an item, right? I'll show you one by one. Let's say I'm doing pop. It will throw away the last item. You can print it and you will find out whatever the last item it found out at that point of time. It will throw it away. Whatever it found out that point of time. Whatever it happened. So when we try to do this time, right? So it found out something as the last item, it threw away. You cannot be really sure that what it is throwing, because there is no order preservance. So how do you use pop? You use pop with a number, okay, or with an element, something like this. Let's say I want to pop apple. I can do it like this. I think it will work. Yeah. So this time you can see. Oh no, wait a second. Did it pop apple? Actually, I printed it how many times? Once. Oh, this print did not work. Wait a second. Which print is working exactly? There is only one print, right, with curly brackets. Okay, this print is working. But after that, if I write another print, that is no longer working. Why it is so? Okay, bad. Let me just print it 2-3 times. It should print. Yeah, it is okay. Fine. Something went wrong. It was not printing. So if I go for fruits dot pop, right? And basically, I don't think it will support any argument over there. We can do one thing actually. We can try to find out what it has popped. That thing you can do. So you just write on popped fruit. What is the popped fruit? Let's see that, and let us print it. Just the popped fruit. Okay. So you can see, you can find out what fruit it has popped. See, it has popped apple this time, right? Next time it might pop something else. So this pop is a very, this time it popped banana. So it is like randomly, if someone asks you, there are this kind of situations when you randomly need to pick up something. This is the best option because it will randomly pick up something. People try to write a function for randomly picking up, but here it is, you know, you don't need it. You can randomly pick up something and throw at you, right? So that's pop. Acha. Now let us say, let us see what else we can do. Fruits dot. Let me show you. Remove. If I do remove, I can remove a specific element. Let's say I want to remove, for example, actually there is a difference between remove and discard. Both of them removes, but see the difference. Let's say I want to remove banana, or let's say coconut, okay, and to print it. Print the fruits. So you're gonna find out that see it has removed. So it had uprooted banana, so banana was anyway thrown out. I removed coconut, so only cucumber, apple, orange, and pineapple are remaining. See, these four are there. Okay. Now, but here's the problem that if I try to remove coconut, let's say multiple times, now you know coconut was there only once, right? And it was set only allows once. So if I try to remove it again, this is going to throw me an error. Look at this. No, yes, the error does not always come in the bottom. It will come somewhere. You can see. It says that there is a problem in line number 115, right? So that is this line. This line has got a problem. It says. Okay, and why does it say so? Because when it tried to work on this, it found out there are some issues. Well, I got it. You know why it got the problem over here? Because this time the popping has happened on coconut. So the coconut was already removed by the pop. The pop randomly removed something, right? It was already removed. I did not even need to wait for line 116. In 115 only I got the error. So instead of remove, what we can do, we can use discard. Now discard is something. Let us say I am, for example, I will comment out this part, okay? So that this part does not disturb me. Let me run it. You will find out there is an issue in line number 116, right? Which is this line. And that is simply because the coconut was already thrown away. So again, you ask it to throw away coconut, it shows you an error that, hey, there is no coconut. What shall I do? But if you use discard, it shall never throw you this error. So discard is a much safer option to you. See, it does not tell anything. There is no error. I can ask it to discard coconut 1,000 times. It will still work without any issue because discard is a silent entity. Right? However, if I'm trying to use, let's say, remove, it is going to throw me error if the element is not there. So remove is also for removing an element, or discard is also for removing an element, but discard works silently. Remove throws an error if there is a problem. Okay, that's it. Simple. All right. So this is basically the use case of discard. Okay. You can do other things also. Now, since there is no ordering, you can understand that I cannot sort and all those things. Sorting, wording, all those things will not work out over here. Okay. So we have update. In update, what we can do, we can write down just like extend was there in list, right? If you have another list, you can extend it. So if I take this one, let's say fruits second list, and I ask it to update with that one, so it will just get that thing put inside this. Okay. You can see fruits. Now, just notice over here in the fruits second list, we had banana, guava, and kiwi. But in our original list, you said you already have banana. In case of the list, when we tried, banana came twice, but here it will not come twice. It will just remain only once. Right? Look at this. See, there is only one banana. It did not become like banana. Because it does not support, I wrote you. It supports only once, right? Or you can also write down one single occurrence. Right? This is all it supports. It does not support too many of occurrences. It will not allow that, but it does not throw error also at the same point of time. Okay, so these are more or less the functions that you have within your list, tuple, and which one? This one. I'll give you this file. Okay, don't worry. I'll always, every single day, whatever codes we shall write, I shall give you this file so that you have this file with yourself. Right, in the Google Drive where your video recording link will be updated, and also make sure you download the video within 7 days. Right, don't just watch and keep it there because it will expire. 7 days is the validity. So I'll update your code. Video today itself. I'll upload this code also over there. Okay, so you can just get it from there, the code. Okay. You can see this is coming up without any issues, right? It is perfectly coming. Now, okay, so now the last thing for today's, and then we shall wrap it off, that is the dictionary data structure. It is very easy. It is also written just like set only with a curly brackets, but it is written in a key value pair. Okay, it is written in a key value pair like this. Let's say, let me give it a different name. Okay, let's say student info. I'm calling it a student's information. Okay. Oh my god. We typically put the curly brackets go, one here, so that we get the in between position to write down things. Now see how it is written. Name and then the value, key value, just like that. Name is, let's say, for example, Ganesh, comma. Let's say age, let's say, for example, 42. That's too much, I guess. 12. Then let's say, place. Let's say, for example, I'm writing Bangalore. Okay, I need to go for quotation, of course. Right? And then I'm going for what else? School, let's say DPS. Okay. So I wrote a student information over here. Okay, what is the name of the student? What is the age? Where does the student stay? And what is the school? So this kind of key value pairs, if you want to keep with yourself, then you need to go for a dictionary data structure. All right. You can understand it is just looking like the set only, right? So this also has all the properties of. There is absolutely no ordering. There is absolutely no this thing. Duplicate it will not allow. Right. I mean, if I write age 2 times, it will take age only once. Look at this. Age, let's say again I'm writing, for example, 15. It is going to take the value 15, but it is going to write it in the second place only. So it will take only once. It will take the latest value. It will not take the older value. It will take the latest value, but only once. It will discard this one completely. So it is only one time it supports. Exactly the same thing, just like set. In curly brackets only we are writing, right? So print it. Print the student info, right? And see, name is Ganesh. Age it took 15. And I told you, it will write in this place only, but it will update the latest value. So age wrote 15, place is Bangalore, school is DPS. Nice. Right. And here, how you take out if one thing, right? So you want to just find out the student info, just the name. So you can in square bracket, you can write down like this name. Okay. So the key, if I write down the key like this is key and value, na? Key, value. If I write down the key, I'll get the value. See, try it out. It gives you Ganesh. So whatever key I shall put, na, if I put, let's say, school, I'll find out DPS, right? Without any issue. See, it is coming up. So like this, we need to write it down. So you write down the key and you will get the value. Okay. Now these things will be required when we shall be doing the loops and all those things. That is the next Saturday's class basically. Next Saturday we shall be doing the loops, functions, and a little bit of classes. We shall understand. And after that we have done that much, then we can go into the cloud scripting, because and then you have to understand the packaging concept also. Then we can go for cloud scripting. The class part probably we can ignore, because classes are not exactly useful for doing scripting. But anyway, I'll still do that because it is there in the syllabus. I'll cover it. I'll not I'll not leave anything. Fine, guys. I guess more or less you're getting the familiarization, correct? A little bit idea is coming, isn't it? I'm not expecting that right now you'll be understanding everything. Probably half of the things they will not make sense, but after this week, provided you have practiced every single day starting from today itself or maybe tomorrow itself, Okay, every single day if you practice just for 15 minutes. Okay, the same thing that I tell in AWS also, the same thing here also, just 15 minutes every day. You're going to do it. Achha. Your assignments. You're going to, your assignments, make sure you do it, otherwise the next class it is going to be completely going above your head. Okay. Achha. Number one, I'll just put this hashes later. Let me first write it down. Assignments. Number one is going to be practicing all of the above. Okay. Number two is going to be, I mean, that is every day's fixed assignment, practicing all of the above. Assignments will only be given on Sunday. Saturday, there is no assignment. Practicing all of the above. Number two is you have to tell me, or you have to basically prepare a document, right? On just a Word file or something, or Notepad, anything is fine. Difference between list, tuple. You have to understand and write. Okay, do not read from internet and write it down, because in internet you will find out 1,000 points. But if I ask you the points, you should have an answer for it. List, tuple, set, these three things. Okay, not dictionary. These three things I need a difference. Okay? And number three is that there's three tasks. Number three is that understanding loops. You just need to read. Okay, this is theoretical. The practical, anyway, we shall do in class. But a theoretical overview of loops you need to understand. So now this is your home task. Okay, and this difference between list, tuple, and set, this thing you have to submit as an email. You need to send at teqstories123@gmail.com. Okay, this has to be submitted by the next Thursday. All right, this is something that I'll be expecting to have in this particular email ID. By next Thursday end of day, you need to submit this thing. Just write down in an email. Also, you can write and send the email. Anything is fine. Okay, but you need to write and individually. Do not copy the emails from each other. I can understand very easily. Okay. Just like 4 or 5 points difference between list, tuple, and set. That's your work. Are we clear, guys, with our assignments? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Great. That will be it for today, and I shall close it off over here. We shall once again meet next Saturday. Okay. Take care.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.